December 10, 2024. Mental Health Israel seek help and the stigma. On the news this afternoon, Governor Fubara says his government has restored hope set to commission roads in Obiakpo community. Rivers Police accuse former members of local vigilante group in Ikwere of criminal activities. NCAA to sanction airlines over delay in ticket refund. On the foreign scene, Israeli warplanes attacks Syria. I'm Ifichuku Moyela with the news. Now, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his performance in office has brought hope to millions of Rivers people. Governor Fubara said this when he received a delegation of national officers as state chapter coordinators of National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN, led by their national president, Sokobo Saraibe, at Government House in Port Harcourt yesterday. He promised to continue to give opportunities to youth in his administration.
Assure you, I will not let you continue to do those things that will give the youth hope in this country. I will be among group. I will continue to champion the youth is the future. Shown it in my administration. A lot of youths are involved. If the opportunity comes to give more chances to them, we will also ensure that we preach it to every other part of this country.
In his speech, National President, National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN, Ambassador Sokobo Saraibe alleged that immediate past administration abandoned him with a 63 million naira hotel bill after promising to host delegates for his election in 2018.
In this office, 2008, supported by Rivers State government, the election was held here in Port Harcourt. Help me reach out to our former governor of Rivers. He called him before me, agreed to sponsor and support them. His Excellency, the election was held peacefully and I made through. His Excellency, then Chief of Staff asked me to get all the hotel receipts for the sponsor. I went around 26 hotels, got the receipt, delegate and lodged in the hotel. And what we need to give them to take back home 50,000 per person. All agreed to 63 million.
Also speaking, Rivers State Commissioner for Youth Development Chisom Bali said the Fubara administration is carrying youth along in the decision-making process. Meanwhile, Governor Fubara is now commissioning the rehabilitated Okocha Road and spurs in Rumolumeni, Obiakpo local government area. Now, this commissioning is part of several projects lined up for commissioning and flag-offs in the next 2 weeks. In other news, Rivers State's Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Mustafa, has accused some former members of local vigilante groups of carrying out criminal activities along the Elele Omerelu and Isiokpo Elele roads in Ikwere local government area. The CP said this while speaking with journalists. He said some vigilantes have pledged to work with the police to identify and arrest the culprits.
Their meeting was OSPAC. Despite their problems within themselves, it was through OSPAC we were able to know that, yes, some of these bad boys, as you rightly observe, are taking advantage. If the policemen abandon that, well, they will now come and take over them to kidnap. Those who have fall out from the same organization, who are criminal elements within that association, were alleged to be the people committing that harm. So they said they will help us to push them out.
The state police commissioner, who said that the police has intensified security patrols along the road and advised against. The state police commissioner said the police has intensified security patrols along the road and advised against traveling along the Elele Omerelu and Isiokpo Elele roads in the Ikwere local government area at midnight.
In collaboration with OSPAC, as well as the effective deployment we have carried out now, I'm assuring you that that road from airport roundabout Omogwa to Ishopo to Ilele, from Ilele till you reach boundary with Imo, or from Ilele to Omog, Ilele Elimini. By the grace of God, all those artists we have notified them. We want to ensure that the roads are safer for road users. We only advise the road users to restrict their movement. Anything after midnight is very risky to travel. We are calling on general public to reduce their movement in the night.
Recall that in 2016, persistent kidnappings along the Elele Isiokpo and Elele Omerelu roads led to the setup of multiple police checkpoints on those routes. But in recent weeks, criminal activities resurfaced on that route with a video of kidnapped victims narrating their ordeal and how their captors took them to a farmland full of bodies. The victims also said many more are still in captivity on the Elele-Omerelu and Isiobo-Elele roads. Away from that, the National Publicity Director of APC, Bala Ibrahim, has dismissed accusations that President Bola Tinubu is using the FCT minister to destabilize the PDP and other opposition parties. Mr. Ibrahim said this after media aide to Atiku Abubakar, Paul Ibe, accused the APC and the presidency of using Wike to weaken the PDP and the Labour Party. Reacting to this, Mr. Ibrahim said the FCT minister is not a card-carrying member of the APC and couldn't have been used to destroy a party he still belongs to. Now, activist Omoyele Sowore has criticized Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi for visiting Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola, to appeal to him to forgive and drop the defamation against activist lawyer Dele Farotimi. In a statement on his X handle, Mr. Sowore said the decision of Mr. Obi to beg the elder statesman to forgive Mr. Farotimi has dealt a devastating blow to the struggle to root out the alleged corruption in the judicial system. As you may know, the former governor of Anambra State had on Monday visited Babalola in his office in Adekiti to appeal to him to drop the ongoing court cases against the activist lawyer, Mr. Dele Farotimi. The activist lawyer, beg your pardon. Now, Mr. Dele Farotimi is facing legal case for allegedly defaming Afe Babalola in his book entitled Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. In other news, as Nigerians join the rest of the world to mark Human Rights Day today, rights activist Prince Wiro has joined in calling for an end to the abuse of citizens' rights. Mr. Wiro, who is the national coordinator of Center for Basic Rights Protection and Accountability Campaign, told correspondent Obioreware that until citizens enjoy their full social rights, the country cannot be said to be thriving in its social justice system.
Many Nigerians in the region in the course of oil exploration are yet to get justice. There will be no future for a country where citizens are denied their social rights such as quality education, standard healthcare system, basic and social amenities due to corrupt practices by some public office holder.
The human rights advocate, however, urged citizens, including the government, to promote activities that will reduce all forms of human rights abuses in society.
For Nigeria to have a future, social, environmental, and human rights must be promoted by the government and citizens. Everybody must be equal in the eyes of the law, irrespective of tribe, religion, and status. It is the right of every citizen to demand transparency and accountability from all public office holders at all levels to secure future for the country.
Now, the World Human Rights Day is celebrated every December 10. This year's theme is Our Rights, Our Future, Right Now. It shows how human rights affect people everywhere, every day. Meanwhile, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo says the fight against corruption can only succeed if it begins with accountability among top government officials. The former president said this during an interactive Zoom session in Abeokuta. He described corruption as hydra-headed. Still to come, NCAA to sanction airlines over delay in ticket refund. Stay with us.
It's the most wonderful time.
Now the rest of the news. Aggrieved youth and women of Okwama community in Delta State have issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government and military authorities to release detained community leaders and hand over the body of their deceased President General Pa James Ogoroko, who died in military custody last week. They have threatened to block the River Niger if their demands are not met. The unrest stems from a March incident in which 17 soldiers were killed during a peace mission in Okwama. And now, as the Harmattan season brings dry air and an increased risk of fire outbreaks, a safety professional, Joy Amoni Ofori, has warned against storing flammable materials such as cartons in kitchens. In an interview with our correspondent, Ms. Amoni Ofori, an HSC inspector in Boni also urged the public not to burn refuse without proper monitoring.
Some persons keep cartons of TV, AC, refrigerators in their kitchen, and these are combustibles. For those cooking with firewood, it's necessary to put it off completely when you're done cooking. Those burning bushes or would want to burn their waste this period, we advise that you don't leave the flame unattended to. Also, you should avoid using candles or lantern near flammable materials, as this could also cause a fire outbreak. Avoid smoking or throwing your smokes in dry bushes.
The HSC professional also advised Rivers residents to arm themselves with basic knowledge of how to use a fire extinguisher.
People overload their extensions. They use naked wires to, plug into fuses. It's advisable not to overload your electricity, whether Harmattan period or not. If you can, have a fire extinguisher in your homes or your offices and learn how to use the fire extinguishers. Teach your family members how to extinguish a fire. So in the event of a fire emergency, they could actually also act. It's also important for people to have fire emergency center number, so you can call in the event of fire outbreak.
Now recall that over the weekend, a fire outbreak opposite the Iguruta market affected about 8 lock-up shops as goods worth millions of naira were destroyed. Eyewitnesses said it took the effort of some patriotic citizens to put out the fire. And now the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it is ready to sanction any airlines that delay tickets refund to the passengers. NCAA Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Mr. Michael Achimogu, in a statement said tickets refund compliance regulations remain central to the NCAA's consumer protection agenda. And now in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has stated that the new Port Harcourt refinery is over 90% completed. This was confirmed on Monday by the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Mele Kyari. He spoke when labor leaders from the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, visited the facility in Rivers State.
You can see the new Port Harcourt refinery is at an advanced stage, but importantly, size matters. This plant is 2.5 times the old Port Harcourt refinery, and it has more complexity. It has a cracker, it has other value-adding units. So as you can see, with the level of work that is ongoing, I said it starts with integrity checks, and those parts that have failed, we are replacing.
In entertainment, music megastar The Weeknd has become the artist with the most songs, with over 1 billion Spotify streams after 24 of his songs crossed over 1 billion streams. In sports, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim could offload Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen and Brazil winger Antony to free up some funds in January.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
Syrian media reports say Israeli warplanes have carried out dozens of attacks across the country, including in the capital, Damascus. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said there were more than 100 strikes on military targets. A research center with suspected links to chemical weapon production was among the sites hit. Israel says it is acting to stop weapons falling into the hands of extremists following the overthrow of the Assad regime.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's wrapping the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Governor Fubara has said his government has restored hope. And he also has begun commissioning of Rumolumeni Road in Obiakpo local government area. Rivers Police has accused former members of local vigilante group in Ikwere local government area of carrying out criminal activities. The NCAA has said it will sanction airlines over delays in tickets refund. And on the foreign scene, Israeli warplanes have attacked Syria. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.